Konnichiwa minna, I'm Wheeze. Welcome to the channel KBW. I am starting a new series of anime explained badly. I've seen a lot of these shows explained badly videos or articles where they say like a kid and a bunch of adults with magical powers fight video gamers and ants as an explanation of Hunter x Hunter. While this is mildly funny, I thought it would be fun to go into greater detail and explain the whole series from the beginning in a similar way. I'm totally staying very factually accurate and only slightly using my point of view on the characters' thoughts or plot points that occur that were left up for interpretation. Definitely not going on random tangents at all. Just going to have this intro for the first episode to explain exactly how it works and where I got the idea. If you like it, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified for part 2. Alright, here we go. Demon Slayer Explained, part 1. Tangerine Bamado was 15 years old when he left his family, which consisted of his mother, his sister Snezuko. Important foreshadowing. I mentioned Snezuko because she is important later. And 15 other children. She had this many children because it was the Taisho period, which is 1912 to 1926. His father had died some time ago because they lived back in the time when people died. So Tangerine abandoned his family to become a coal farmer and sell his finely crafted coal in the village because they gave him such a ridiculous name. But after only one day, he sold all of his coal and realized he couldn't survive off of just that. So Tangerine decided to go back to his family and deal with his ridiculous name that his family had given him. But as he left the village, he was kidnapped by some crazy religious man who warned Tangerine of demons who would consume his soul if he didn't guard properly against them. Tangerine explained he had never had any moral issues in his life and was perfect all growing up, but the man forced him to stay the night and eat his food. This part was all filler and had no purpose. We already knew he was a perfect moral shonen character. Psh. Anyways, Tangerine went back up the mountain through the CGI snow to find his family massacred from a monster. Totally unrelated to what the religious guy was talking about, right? Yeah, just a random monster. Demons are spiritual. So all of his family is killed except for his sister, Snezuko. Oh my goodness, Snezuko, bet you weren't expecting her. He can tell she is alive and everyone else is dead because he smells her, and he can tell it wasn't her who killed everyone because he smells a monster and she is covered in blood and beat up and unconscious. But mostly because he can smell things. By the way, Tangerine has a super sense of smell. Like, I don't even know if he can use his eyes. I doubt he can even see, but he smells everything, so he knows where he's going. Tangerine grabs Snezuko and heads back to the town because people used to bleed out from wounds back in that day. This was a long time ago. As Tangerine runs dangerously near a cliff on the way back to town, Snezuko moves slightly while on Tangerine's back, so he runs off the cliff. He falls and doesn't get hurt because snow back in that day saved people from fall damage. He stands up and looks for his sister, who was standing just a few feet away. She tries to wrap her arms around him and he's not into it because it's his sister. Then she tackles him and he's really not into it because now she is trying to bite him. He puts the handle of his axe into her mouth to keep her from eating him, and after a few minutes he realizes she is not trying to show affection and that she has been turned into a monster herself. Now that Snezuko is a monster, Tangerine can't fight against her, and when a dude with a sword who is supposed to be a demon slayer shows up and explains to Tangerine that Snezuko is a demon now and she got demon blood in her and the only thing he can do is decapitate her, Tangerine tells this demon slayer, whose name is Goo, that he can save her somehow, and he begs that he not kill his only family member left. They yell at each other for a while, then Tangerine, seeing no other way to resolve the conflict, attacks Goo by throwing stones at him and running in a circle. He grabs his axe and dead sprints towards Goo. Goo just smacks him down, but doesn't realize Tangerine didn't have his axe. As he looks up, Goo sees this beautiful hand axe flying in the air toward him. You can feel the romantic tension as the graceful axe and the rugged, beautiful man named Goo lock eyes for just a sparing moment. However, Goo's life as a demon slayer prevents him from having any relationships at all. The tragic love story ends in the axe getting a few hairs off of his head, which to be honest is pretty good. I've never gotten more than a handshake from any girl I liked. Stealing a few of their hairs is pretty good by my standards. At least you have something to remember him by, Axe-chan. After the romantic encounter that softened Goo's heart just a little bit, and because Snezuko tried to protect her brother instead of eating him while she was starving, Goo decides to knock her out and then tells Tangerine to visit a man named Sakaji Yorudaki and that Snezuko can't be exposed to sunlight. Tangerine and Snezuko bury their family, although they just go over it very quickly, and it would make more sense for Snezuko to just eat them since they're already dead, but I'm not insinuating anything. Thanks so much for watching this video, Demon Slayer Explained Perfectly. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm making, or I've already made part 2, so you can go watch it if you want. Unless I haven't made it yet, then you can just rewatch this and all of my other videos until it comes out. You can subscribe and like while you're at it if you want to support me. Also, I have a Twitter and a podcast and a book. All of those are linked in the description if you want to check them out. That's all for this video. Jianya!